Hi, this is Cheryl of Mind Body Movement, bringing you the second instalment of the series Movement You Can Do in Bed. There's nothing to see today, nothing to copy, nothing to imitate. So feel free to lie down, close your eyes, and just listen and follow the instructions. I'm going to narrate this as if you're lying on your back, with your arms just at the side of your body. So feel the weight of your body against the surface. Allow your skull to be heavy and to drop a little deeper down towards the pillow. Allow your eyes to sink back in your skull. Your forehead softens, tissues around the nose and cheeks and inside the nose relax. Just feel that. Will for yourself a relaxation in your face and see what you sense. If you will it, something will happen. Let your cheeks relax, your lips, your jaw. Soften your tongue, let it relax. Soften your soft palate, the inside of the throat, out towards the ears, the outside of the throat, and the sides of the neck and the back of the neck. Let the whole head be heavy. Imagine gentle traction drawing the skull away from the trunk, easing compression in the neck. Allow the arm bones to be heavy and to roll away at the shoulder joint from the trunk, creating space at the armpit. It's as if the collarbones widen. Now soften your trunk and expand your breath into your trunk and allow your ribs to widen out to the side. No force, no strain. And then breathe out. Soften your ribs. Can you allow them to let go and sink? Can your breath help you as you breathe in, softening out to the sides of the ribcage, and relax. This time as you breathe in, softening the back of the ribcage from the top of the shoulders down to the low back. Now soften the breastbone and the front of the ribcage. Imagine an expansion upwards towards the ceiling as you breathe in. And now imagine a 360-degree breath. The ribcage pushes out in all directions. There's an excursion from the center outwards in 360 degrees. And it's also as if the skull moves away from the trunk as you breathe in. Imagine you creating space in your thorax, in your trunk. Now take your attention further down the spine, imagining from the navel to the tailbone, the spine unfurling away from the center of your body, lengthening as if you have a magnet at the tailbone, drawing it away from the body. Feel the back of the pelvis soften against the surface and be almost like a dead weight. In the same way as the shoulders and arm bones rolled out, now allow the femurs, the thigh bones, and the lower legs and feet to roll outwards away from the midline, creating space at the hip joint and in the pelvis. Now as you breathe in, you have that 360-degree expansion in the ribcage and also a filling of the belly and the sides of the waist and the back of the waist as the breath comes in and the diaphragm pushes down and pushes all the abdominal viscera a little downwards. And then as you breathe out, the elastic recoil in the pelvic floor and around the abdomen help to push that air out. Once again, breathe in. Feel like an expansion occurs in your entire trunk. Down to the pelvic floor and breathe out and soften. We'll return to the breathing in a moment, but let's just relax the legs. So we've rolled the hip joints outwards, rolled the thigh bones outwards and created width and space in the pelvis. Now imagine magnets on your feet, drawing your feet and your legs away from the rest of the body. And imagine at the opposite end, a magnet drawing the skull away from the centre of the body. So you're long and you're wide and you're taking up space and you're in deep contact with the surface below because you're starting to let go of the tension that lifts you away from the surface. So the deeper the contact, the closer the contact, the more relaxed you are. And the more you practice letting go of the tight areas in your body and using your breath to soften and create space, the quicker you'll be able to relax yourself. It's a skill that needs practice. So let's now return to the breath. Breathing in through the nose, imagining the breath going up the nostril towards the eyes, and then doubling back on itself and whipping left and right into the lungs. So the breath goes on a journey upwards, up in the nostrils. Imagine you're aiming your breath towards the crown of your head. And see how that's different from sucking the air directly back and tightening maybe around the neck or the throat. So have a sense of allowing the breath to aim towards the crown of the head, but then arcing around and ending up in the lungs and pushing the diaphragm down, allowing the belly and waist and the back of the waist to soften. And all the abdominal viscera pushes down to the pelvic floor, and so the pelvic floor also has to soften. Don't worry about softening the pelvic floor, because the natural recoil in the pelvic floor as you breathe out will draw it back upwards. You can feel the pelvic floor moving upwards just a little more if you lengthen your out breath and breathe out through pursed lips. So imagine you have a straw between your lips and you're breathing out. Let's try that. So breathe in first, just a normal breath. And as you breathe out, now purse your lips and imagine you're breathing out through a straw. Just breathe the air all the way out. Let's try that again. Breathe in, and as you breathe out through pursed lips. Are you making the breath even? Or is there more force at the beginning and less at the end? So it's... Just notice how that was for you. And now try to make it even. You breathe in. As you breathe out through pursed lips, make the breath smooth, slow, and even all the way until you have no breath left. And as you force the last bit of breath out, your abdominals and your pelvic floor will be gently drawing inwards and upwards. See if you can notice that. And relax as you breathe in. Relax everything. And let's just take a couple of breaths now, expanding into the trunk as you breathe in, and then feeling that contraction of the pelvic floor and abdominals as you breathe out. And we might just make it happen a little more by pursing the lips, but this isn't the way that I would want you to breathe in everyday life. This is just an exercise to connect with your breath. So taking that breath in, expanding into the rib cage, down towards the pelvic floor. As you breathe out through pursed lips until there's no breath left, feeling how that contracts the pelvic floor and the abdominals very gently. It's not a big contraction. And then just breathe in normally when your body wants to breathe. Just regain your composure, gather yourself, just breathe normally. So I want you to put together now all the different points of awareness. So just carry on breathing as I'm narrating the things that I would like you to focus on. Sense the breath going up the nose and towards the crown of the head. Sense the expansion in the rib cage towards the ceiling, out to the walls at the side, down towards the bed. Sense the fullness in your belly and waist, and the breath almost seems to inflate you all the way down to the pelvic floor, as if your trunk is a square pillow and it's been pumped evenly full of air down to the corners of the hips and the corners of your two shoulders. So the whole thing is expanded like bread or a cake rising in the oven. And then as you breathe out, the whole thing deflates, and that natural recoil around the pelvic floor, abdominals and the ribs helps to gently move the air out. Continue. Breathing in, breath goes upwards, neck stays soft, ribs expand. Feel the breath down in the pelvic floor, and then as you breathe out, slowly, smoothly, evenly, as if through a straw, feel that elastic recoil in the pelvic floor and in the abdominals. Continue to breathe in this way, just for a few more breaths. With every in-breath, feel there's an expansion where the ribcage expands, the arms move away from the midline, the pelvis moves away from the midline, the head moves away from the center, the pelvic floor moves away from the center. And as you breathe out, there's a gentle contraction to help the air leave the body. Every breath is an expansion and an opportunity to release and to relax somewhere. And now please breathe normally without trying to extend your breath in any way. Just allow your breathing to return to normal. I hope you found some benefit in allowing your mind to move around your body as you breathe, and notice that by encouraging an image in a particular part of the body, you can affect the level of tension in that area. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day.